Welcome back to the M3 podcast. This week, we got Dre and Bree on from the MMG squad and Zach Molzer, Molzer Development.
Let's go. I'm pumped.
I am too. It was pretty wild that how Bree came to me, it would have been probably like 3-4 months ago.
Yeah.
She was like, you need to come to this, like, young, what do you?
Next KC?
Yeah, next
Yeah.
KC. It's just
like-
a networking group.
Like this young networking group, and she was like, you need to meet Zach, all this stuff, and like, you can ask most people around MMG, I'm not like real prone to go to a lot of things. It's like kind of outside of my like zone of what I do, and
People meet you. You don't meet people.
well, not in a douchebag way, but
No,
like kind of in a like I just like going to the places that I know. I like sitting there. I don't like being sold things, and I feel like a lot of times when I go to networking things, people start trying to sell me like the wildest shit, like, and it was like. I told Brie, I'm like, not interested. Then we're at AO, and you come up, and you're like, what's up, dude? I'm Zach. I know you. You know me. And I'm like, Matt's just like, who is that? I'm like, I don't know. That dude's got a lot of energy, though. I'm like, I like him. And then we start texting and come by the office. And when you came by the office, it was, I don't think I really even knew everything that you were involved in and everything you had going. And I was like, yeah, this guy needs to be on the podcast.
It was awesome. So, I'm glad to be here. It's fun.
Yeah. You got a lot of shit going on.
Lot. It's been, yeah. Sleeping is fun. Sleeping is fun. Melatonin is your best friend.
The crazy thing to me, too, is like you've been brought up in conversations with a lot of high-level guys that I'm around that for the longest time I felt like I was the young guy in the room. I was the young person that was brought up that's under the age of 30. Now I've broken the 30 mark. I'm about to turn 31. But now I'm getting old, so I'm not the young guy in the group anymore. So it's like I'm blending in with the group. Yeah. But it was like Zach, he's doing it. The things being done.
That's I think that's the biggest part about a lot of people is a lot of people have they have the talk. You know, I used to play golf, and I still do, but not as good as I used to be. And like in high school, my golf coach, he was also the basketball coach, which that didn't work out as well as he probably thought. But my golf coach growing up was always say like, talk is cheap, and you know you have the ability to execute. And so I don't know, like I talk a fairly big game in a sense of, yeah, you're gonna know my name around town, you're gonna know what I've got going on, you're gonna know things, and that's part of the brand of what I'm trying to build, of building public and be open, honest, and transparent about what I'm doing. But at the same time, like you have to be able to execute on it. You know, to your point of like with this, even like dealing with the city and things, like who the hell is this guy? Sure, that's whatever. And then to be able to do different things and be like, hey, here's what's going on. They're like, oh shit, I guess he's doing that.
And I'm always somebody that I tell all of MMG when we have clients come through, I'm like, watch people based on their action, not what they say.
Yes. And
we've had a lot of people come through our walls that they say a lot of things, but the action speaks something vastly different.
Correct.
So that was one thing that when we met, I'm like, a lot of energy, quirky, young, saying everything that normally isn't supposed to be said.
Yep. And
I've been very much in that same role a lot where I've had people watch the podcast and like, your podcast is tacky. I'm like, how's your podcast?
Yeah.
And they're like, and then the funniest thing is they look at me and they're like confused.
I've got a video coming out in a couple days that we just filmed today, and it's funny. It's like, I don't know if you guys seen the trend, like, I'm a blank, of course, blah, blah, blah. And like, so the thing is, I'm a 24-year developer, of course, X, Y, and Z. And like, one of them is like, I'm a 24-year developer, of course I get more hate from Reddit than I do my lenders. Or I'm a 24-year developer, of course people think it's daddy's money. Yeah. Just things like that, because I like being able to, I have tough skin. I can play jokes with people. It's like, it's not, you know, I've got a lot of support and a lot of people behind me, but it's also not what bats the eye.
And when you start finding success, when you start getting recognition, you start ending up in the rooms with the right people, the hate comes along with it just as fast.
Amen. I always say, if you don't have haters and you're doing something, you're not necessarily doing something wrong, but you're not doing what I want to do. Yeah. And that's challenge the status quo.
And I think there's a lot of people that have made the money over time kind of behind the scenes, and it's a really long road, and they've just done it that way. But we do have a different game that's being played in today's world.
Correct.
That you can go out there and say, I'm cool with half of the world hating me. I'm the half I'm gonna own really well.
There's never been a time in our life where you have access to millions of people at the click of a button. And I want to leverage that. And I don't care if 500,000 of those people don't like what I'm doing. The other 500,000 will like what we're doing and what we're building.
Yeah. And that's, I think, something that took me years to figure out in MMG that I wish I would have figured out at a lot earlier spot in my life. Mm-hmm. That even when we started with MMG, you can ask everybody around here that I used to be so worried about offending someone. I was so worried about the negative feedback that the one person was going to have. I was worried about what people I went to high school were going to think. I'm like, I don't even talk to these motherfuckers. Yeah. I'm like, why do I care what they think?
He kicked me off the podcast multiple times because he thought that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's part of the reason.
Well, Dre was also saying shit that like was way off the wall. Like,
that's part of the reason I put my name on the front of my brand. Name, it's named Molzer Development. I didn't name it Midwest Development or anything like that. It's Molzer Development, and with that are the pros of building your name, your company, and your brand. But at the same time, there can be cons and repercussions of it. But if you're doing the right thing and you have that unfiltered attitude, but also knowing when to dial it back, I always joke, like, I'm not a coffee maker. I don't need a filter. There's some things I just can't say, but at the same time, I don't need to. I appreciate everyone's opinion, their thoughts, but I don't care about everyone's opinions and their thoughts all the time.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't be emotional in my line of business. You just can't.
And I think, to a lot of people's point, they think that the no filter is
arrogance
or being mean towards people, things like that. I'm like, I'm never mean towards someone. I never come into any scenario that I want to.
I looked at the camera and go.
But it's like, I don't want to be mean to somebody. We work with a lot of nonprofits. I look at making a difference in Kansas City. We look at really moving the needle forward. But that doesn't mean that I have to waver off of the way that my morals and the compass I run by every day, that I truly believe winners win and losers fucking lose. Like, that's the world that we live in. And guess what? When winners win, losers are going to bitch about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's people that want to blame the whole world for everything that goes wrong and they want an excuse for everything in their life. Those people always stay in the same position.
Yeah.
And until people can look at themselves in the mirror and say, hey, I'm the problem, I'm the one that, and it took me that's not something I always had in life.
Yeah.
To where that's something that people are, oh, you're wired like that. I'm like, no, I used to not be that way.
No, you gotta learn.
And
learn and adapt.
So that kind of position of then just saying, like, this is who I am and this is how I'm going to run and this is what I'm going to say. And if somebody listens to it and doesn't like it, I don't care. Like, there's 50,000 business owners in Kansas City. If 25,000 of them don't like us, there's still 25,000 they're going to like us a lot.
Yep.
And then we need to only capitalize on like 500 to 1,000 of those.
Exactly.
Still plenty of fish in the sea.
It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
It's all everything in life and everything in business is a numbers game.
Yeah.
It's all numbers game.
I literally tell business owners daily, I'm like, 2 people run for president. Half of the country hates one and loves the other and flip-flop the other way.
Yeah. Literally.
100%. I'm like, these are people that go to be a president of a country that you have 50% of people that hate them with a passion, enough to post about them every single day and do all this stuff right out the gate on somebody they don't even know.
Yeah. So why the fuck do you care if they don't like your business?
Yeah. So now we get 100 people in Kansas City that don't like us because we talk shit on the marketing world. Oh, whatever. Yeah. Like, big whoop. Same thing. Like, that's what I like with what you do on the development side. Like, you say it how it is. And, like, I watch your videos online and everything. And earlier, the way you're running social and the way you're doing things, I'll give kudos where it's deserved, and you guys deserve it.
100%. No, Annie's our full-time marketing PR gal. She's absolutely crushed it with what she's doing. Blessed to have her. I think the one difference is we're not trying to, like, make people upset or anything or say anything controversial. It's more so what the industry that I'm in with development, it's always just been a very hush-hush world of, like, don't talk about this, don't talk about that. You don't want to make people upset. You don't want to make people mad. You don't want to poke the wrong bear. And I don't know, my philosophy is different of if you talk about a project you have going on up front, you get out in front of it and you talk with the neighborhood, you talk with the city and you say, hey, here's what I've got going on. Here's what I'm doing. Here are my plans. you do that up front, honestly, open, transparent. Hey, I need X, Y, and Z to be able to make this work. Instead of just walking in a meeting going, I need this, what can you give me? I think that can lead to unmatched opportunity from both the economic standpoint in the relationship with the city, with investors, with potential and future projects, and just putting your name out there.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, people follow people. They don't follow companies. They follow
make it
people.
10 minutes. All right, has to go bathroom. Wild. So I do, before we go into the whole business side of things, because I know we have a ton to talk about there, I want to back up and I want to talk about the Zach story.
Okay.
Zach story.
Where does it start? Like, where do you want to start that story at?
Okay, so I've always loved sales. I've always loved talking to people. Always been extremely outgoing. So my great grandma died when I was probably 3, and at her funeral, I was selling rocks to my other family members. Great rocks, by the way.
Awesome rocks, the best rocks.
Great rocks, huge rocks. No, I was selling rocks to my family members. Again, I was 3. I was like, I didn't really know what was going on. But like that was like, I guess, the first moment of, I don't remember that, but of my dad telling me when I was a kid of like, you were born to do something that involved people. Middle school, high school, grew up playing basketball and golf, and a plethora of other sports. My dad sat me down one day and said, Zach, you have a better chance of owning an NBA team than ever playing for one, so you should probably focus more on golf. So I did, got good at golf, etc., and then went to college at the University of Nebraska, had a lot of fun there. Also studied a lot and worked hard in school, graduated in 3 years up there. Worked for an owner-operator developer. I moved back to Kansas City after graduation, but down in Tulsa. So worked for them for about 2 years, and I just got to a point where I wanted to make a bet on myself and knew I could try to figure it out. So I left in February of 24, started Molzer development, and then Aladdin came around, right place, right time, figured it out. Being a developer is not hard. It's just there's a lot of pieces to it. One of the main pieces is getting and putting together a really good team. And with projects like the Aladdin, it's a very big team.
Yep.
So it's not just Zach. There's a lot of other people alongside.
So
me.
you would have been how old at or
23 when I bought the Aladdin.
So at 23, Molzer Development is created.
Correct. 22.
22. So
I think
That's crazy.
started at 23.
you close on something like that at that age, you had to do a lot of capital raise.
Correct. We raised $5.5 million.
How does one get into the capital raise side and even understand that world at that age? Because I'm telling you what, at 23, I was.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, I mean, you.
What is capital raise?
Yeah, Bree's like, I'm 45. I still don't
What the hell's
understand
a
it.
capital raise?
I mean, at the end of the day, went to college for the understanding the development side, and frankly worked for a developer and owner operator. That was awesome. They gave me a lot of knowledge and, more importantly, the boots on the ground experience. But from a capital raising standpoint, it was just planting seeds from 19 to where I am now. Of when I first came around the Aladdin and thought that this was an opportunity, it was meeting with hundreds of people and bringing together a lot of different individuals from partners and et cetera to say, hey, I think this is an opportunity to figure it out. There are a lot of different options and outs if we can't figure it out, but I think we can figure it out, so I want you to trust me with your money. And at the end of the day, we raised $5.5 million from 32 investors, 2 different tranches. The first tranche was about $2.7 million. That took about 25 days, and we had 30. The next $2.5 million was a little bit harder, just because we were also dealing and figuring out other things along the way of getting architecture plans and MEP drawings and dealing with the city and all that. But then over the next 3 months or so, we raised that other $2.75, and here we are.
So you raise that money. So my thing on a lot of businesses, like when I started MMG, it was pretty much like a burn the ships kind of deal. That it was, people ask me all the time, like, what's plan B? I'm like, well,
Fucking plan B. It's
I didn't think
sink
about
or
that.
swim.
Yeah. And
I mean, I had $5.5 million for other people's money. It was that. I think that's part of the reason why we were able to get things done so fast, so quick, so efficiently, because you have a lot of developers that are obviously trying to push the needle and do things fast and efficient and as affordable as possible, but they've also got 2 or 3 other projects going on at the same time. This was literally do or die. Like if someone trusts you with that much money, A, and B, you've got to figure it out. You've got to figure it out. You know, when there's a problem or there's something that comes up, it's like, hey, I need you to do this. And you're like, I don't know if I can do that. You figure it out. You go, all right, cool, let's go figure it out. And you take a day to figure it out.
And so when I started MMG, took me 3 years before I raised any capital. And I think it was because for a long time I didn't believe in myself and what I was doing. I didn't believe in if I was supposed to be the operator to take this to where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Where when I had people offering me money, and I was like, no. I was like, and I also thought it was some sort of flex to do it with no investor money.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need to help them.
Yeah.
It was an ego trip that was in my own way. So ultimately, I talk all the time. The main thing that held MMG back for the longest time was myself, actually. And how does one get past that so quickly to say, hey, I can take funded money? Because now I look at, after Dane developed over 4 years, I started taking investment money into MMG. I know that I'm looking at, I'm like, it's a good fucking bet for you guys. I'm like, you're going to win big. I was like, you're on the right train. Welcome.
Yeah.
And how does one right out the gate? Was that developed in college? Like, was the firm you worked with in Tulsa just that baller that, like, you knew that you're like...
No, that's built up over time. So I grew up around both a dad and a stepdad that started their own business, and I got to dip my toes in to understand what the life was like of, like, starting your own thing and putting your balls out on the table. And I realized that there's a risk-adjusted return with everything. And the Aladdin, for example, it was worth the risk-adjusted return. Because, again, at the end of the day, there were lots of avenues out that could have made everyone else whole. And so it was something that we got comfortable with. You know, at the end of the day, development is a world where as much as people want more housing and want more development and things to go on, then people also bitch and complain about it of, oh, we don't want that here. Like, build more, but not here. At the end of the day, development is an investment tool where someone is trusting you with their money and saying, hey, I believe that you can generate me a greater return than an alternative, whether that be the stock market, 401k, a CD, whatever it may be. It lights fire under your ass. You just got to figure it out. And so sheer confidence. It's like what's the movie where Will Ferrell's like, I wake up in the morning and I piss excellence.
That's Talladega Nights.
Yeah. It's like that.
I like that.
I don't know. I've always been a confident person. My parents have always told me oh, Zach, well, you need to go to therapy for confidence. You know, you really struggle with that. I'm like, yeah, it's always been just a joke. But I don't know. I've always just been born betting on myself. I just know that I've got the tenacity, the brain power, and the ability to put people together. Because it's not me. I'm honestly not that smart. I'm pretty good at putting the right people in the room together and being able to execute a vision. Most importantly, just execute on that vision. But I'm not a fucking genius by any stretch of imagination. It's not like I'm not Albert Einstein. I didn't read that.
So for the longest time, if you ask my dad, you ask Madison, you ask my brother, you ask everybody, they would say, oh, Dane's just been a wildly confident person his whole life.
Wildly and uberly confident is the best ability that you can have. The only problem with it, but the biggest problem with it is you can't teach it. You cannot teach confidence. You can help people grow with it, but you can't teach it.
I agree with that.
I was just born with uber confidence.
I think for the longest time, I think I had a false confidence.
Got it.
Outside world thought I had all this confidence. I think inward, I fought with a confidence complex myself.
Got it.
Like, you met me in college, I was in crazy good shape. Like, I lived in the gym, I ate super healthy, but I was trying to
please other people.
No, I thought that's what held the weight in a room. Like, it was like the better shape I was in, that's where my confidence came from.
Yeah, I'm a fat fuck. I mean, I don't.
Hey, are you still working out?
Hell yeah.
Good.
I go personal training 2 days a week.
Yep.
But
I beat some ass.
My thing was I wasn't confident with what was in my head.
Correct.
And
my head's like the fucking monkey going like that.
But it's
up there.
I think it was for so long. So like when I was really little, like I had speech problems when I was young. I was put into special ed classes. And I think for the longest time that like crippled me because I thought I was as smart as everyone else.
Yeah.
I was really good at math and science. I was terrible reading and writing. And our school is built around reading and writing. So if you weren't good or if you weren't great in English class, see, there was my English problem. If you weren't good in English, Madison corrects me on everything.
If you weren't proficient in English.
So if I wasn't great in English class, I thought I wasn't smart. I always had good grades. But
Stupid bitch.
Yeah. But that's like, that was the man in the mirror that I spoke with all the time. Like, I had this false confidence that all these things I was really good at, and I always worked really hard, and I outworked everybody, and it was from this, like, false confidence that I gave. And I don't think until, like, the last probably 3 years of my life have I truly became and set into, like, real confidence.
Yeah.
And I think to go raise that kind of money, you have to have something there. Do you ever deal with that in a way that you're like, it's almost like an imposter syndrome kind of, that you're like, do you ever struggle with anything on, I don't even know what the question I'm asking is.
No, it's more so.
That's
it's
why I'm
like,
confused. I'm pretty good at answering questions. But
no, it's like placing yourself in a room where it's like, say your first build or your first property you go into, the numbers, what you did then to what they are now, once you took that next step and
then it's like, I proved myself.
Well, it's like a few more zeros were added. It's like, am I in the right room?
But
should I have stuck to what
I'm
I was
saying
doing?
At 24 years old, I ended up in rooms I felt like I wasn't supposed to be in all the time.
Same. I'm in the same boat. I'm still in a room I'm not supposed to be in.
Now, when I walk into those rooms, like, I walk in thinking, like, I know I'm fucking supposed to be here. Like, and I don't even think twice about it anymore. Like,
Yeah, that's fair. You're not much older than me, but I hope still over the next 5 years that I still walk into the same rooms, and I'm still not. I don't want to say worthy because that's not the right word, but I like surrounding myself with people that are older than me, where I can be a sponge. I talk a lot. I interrupt a lot. I do that. That's my ADHD. I take 80 milligrams of Vyvanse every morning, and I still fucking 80 milligrams of Vyvanse, and I still fucking just talk. I talk. And me interrupting is not dismissing what somebody else thinks. It's like, if I think of something, I'm saying it. Like, just brain, tongue, go. I like hanging out with those people because I want to learn what they've done. What did they do to be successful? How can they help me? I would say outside of me hanging out with my friends on the weekend and stuff, and even then I'm still hanging out with older people, I'm with 35 to 45-year-olds every day. Both during the day, during work, and then also what's still work, even at the evenings when I'm having a happy hour or going to getting a cocktail with the guy doing my insurance. Like, those guys are 50, 60, 70 years old they're instituting their knowledge into me of like, hey, Zach, I wasn't doing this when I was 24. I have never worked with a 24-year-old, but here's some things that I've learned along the way of watching a lot of people fuck up, and here's things I've learned along the way of watching people be very successful. And I just shut up and listen and just try to figure it out. And I go, all right, that's good knowledge. There's some times where people will say that, and they'll almost talk down to you, where they're like, well, do this or you're going to fail. And it's like, okay, there's lots of different ways to skin the cat. That's why there's sometimes I don't love going to meetings or events where it's someone telling you how to live your life or how to make money in commercial real estate. It's like, okay, a lot of different ways to skin the cat, obviously. Most people don't start with a $40 million historic tax credit project in the 16-story building in the heart of downtown. Well, here we are. I also wouldn't recommend doing that. But at the same time, I know it's going to be lucrative for my investors. If it ends up being lucrative for myself, then great. But at the end of the day, the lucrativeness of the Aladdin project, for example, is not in the fiscal aspect for myself. It is what the foundation that I've built, the brand that I've built, and how everyone will know and remember, even if I die tomorrow, of like, you think of Zach Molzer, you'll think of a good person, you'll think of a dude loved good bourbon, and you'll think Aladdin. That's what you'll think.
Which I have 2 points to that statement that you made.
And I want that to be a focal point going forward as well. Of I'm going to do a lot cooler, bigger, not necessarily, again, money-wise, but I'm going to do a lot of things over the next 50 years, as long as I live. But at the end of the day, the first one, you can't fuck up your first. Like right. That's like the cardinal rule. Do not mess up your first. Make sure everybody that invested in you up front, are made whole and they make money on your first, especially, and second and third. Yes, you want to make the money forever, but you're going to mess up at some point. But with a project like that, with a name like the Aladdin and the eyeballs that are on it, I'm not opposed to it being like on my tombstone in 50 years, like, hey, that was the guy that helped bring back the Aladdin. Yes, he did a lot of other stuff, but it is a, and I think that ties into the approach that I'm taking of we're going to spend more money where I think it's worth it. The rents are still going to be lower where they probably should be. It's so curated and so thoughtful. I think that will speak volume to not only the renters, myself, my partners, but the city and nation as a whole. I want the Aladdin to win every single award for Kansas City, and that's not even just a goal. I want it to win every award possible nationwide because we cared. We thought it was a joke that, I want it to be something unbelievable.
That's a legacy question that I do want to talk about.
And it's weird to have to say that for your first project. It's very weird.
I want that to be towards a closing statement on the future. I do want to back up to a present where when we're talking about, I have a much older friend group too.
Yeah.
More
fun, dude. Fuck the younger kid.
Hey.
You're out.
Hey, these are my older group of people.
They're, especially when you find an older group that like, they're fun. They have younger kids maybe, and like, I don't love to have kids, but like, I have a girlfriend. I've been with her 7 years. We're like, I can go out with these guys or gals or whatever, and it's just almost though we're in the same boat because, hey, they've been married for 2 years. They have a kid, but they've been with their wife for 5 years. It's like, okay, I've been with my girlfriend for 7. So there's a common denominator. They're maybe 10 years older, but maturity-wise, in terms of business, we think the same. I'm the first to say, like, maturity-wise, dude, I laugh at penis jokes. They're hilarious. It's awesome. Go look at my last Instagram clip. I'm laughing going, we are erecting our elevator right now. That's fucking hilarious. Someone didn't decide to make a new word, like, oh, we're putting up the elevator, or, oh, it's getting taller. No, they said, we are erecting an elevator. I'm like, what do you say? I'm just kind of giggling. Like, what do you erect? It's just funny. Like, that's where I'm immature completely when it comes to that. I don't know, it's kind of funny. And that'll grow, and hopefully that grows as I get older. But at the same time, I always want to be fun.
So do you hang out with me to have your immature moments?
100%. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's a blast.
True.
Yeah, we can just vibe and shoot the shit and just
go to Keyhole.
Yeah, go to Keyhole and have peanuts and random meats that are there and just vibe.
Which I think there's a
they have hot dogs, but I don't. That's a long story. I don't trust hot dogs.
Glizzies.
I love hot
Pickle
dogs. I just
shots?
don't trust them.
Why?
Well, just like think about it. Like,
Bro, that
unless
thing's
it's
been processed enough. Nothing in there is bad for you at that point.
dude, I don't know.
derailing.
I'm just saying.
No, I was gonna
drag on a hot dog.
No, I was gonna talk about the fact
Hot
that you
dogs
guys
are
hang
sauce.
out with older individuals. I think it's because those groups, they actually truly want to see people succeed. I think that's what it's like in, I'm gonna say, all of our age demographic. That's rare. Most people, they're like, where's my get rich quick?
Yeah.
And
What do I get from this?
yeah. And it's somewhere it's like in those rooms when we get in, I'm like, what can I provide you? In the same way, like Dane's instilled in everyone within MMG is like, what can we provide someone? It's not going to be an immediate return.
No.
But it's going to help project them forward and push them forward of what they're doing. And when you're sitting in those rooms, we're giving them information that typically they would have to pay consulting companies a fair amount of money for.
Yeah.
That's like, hey, we know it. We do it every day. We're in it every day. Let us help you on this fact or this information. And then in return, most of the time they will give you their information. And it's like the same thing you were talking about being a sponge.
Yeah.
It's like, God gave you 2 ears and one mouth. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Just listen.
Sometimes it's hard for me, but still,
It's hard,
it's
hard for me too.
I had
don't
a-
worry.
I think it's hard for all of
So
us.
it's like you
I
guys
had
need to
a
meet.
I had a new hire 2 weeks ago. He started, and the first thing I told Colin, not maybe the first thing, but one of the first things, like Colin, the blessing of being young is you can get yourself into any room possible. There's 3 ways to get in that room. I go, 1, you say, hey, blah blah blah. I'd love to meet with you. I'm just a kid. I admire what you do, and you just stroke their ego, and you get in. The second route is, hey, my name is Colin. I'm doing X, Y, and Z. I'd love to meet with you. I'm young, but I'm working on this, and I'd love to see how we can work together and maybe partner. That one is a little bit trickier. Or the next route is, hey, I'm calling. Here's what I'm doing. I'd love to meet with you. Let me know when you're free. That is more of a big dick move of like, I know what I'm worth if you want to meet with me. And that one takes more time to develop, obviously. And there's people that you have to know people. You have to know, and everyone's different. But at the end of the day, you can get yourself into a lot of rooms just being young.
And confident.
Well, hell, the last
The
one, I mean,
confidence
even
thing.
after addition, it was like, hey, I'm young, I'm dumb, I'm stupid. I'm young, I'm dumb, but I kind of know what I want to do and I want to learn from you. Or I'm young, I'm smart, and I want to teach you. Some people like that. Some people like saying, what the hell is this arrogant kid doing? I kind of like that. I'm going to go meet with them. Some people want to feel like they're God, and they're like, oh, this child wants me to teach them the ways of life. Some people just want to be like, hey, I want to meet with you and grab coffee. But being young is a huge, huge advantage that I feel like my generation doesn't fully understand. And that's why it is literally on the front page of my website is being young is our greatest strength. It allows us to think with innovation, think with technology, and at a forefront, and open doors, and have a strategic approach to development, to resources, connections, etc. We can open doors that other people can't, and we can think in ways that other people can't, because we're not closed-minded. We're not bound by the methodologies of the past, or bound by the methodologies of what is right, what is wrong, or what the rules say. We're rewriting the rules. We are the rules.
Damn
No
right.
one's telling us
We
what
are
the fuck
the
to do.
rules.
I will say
you can just
easy breathe.
We're the rules.
you can just like I have a big following on Twitter, and everyone like I'm very close to a lot of people up there, and that's a whole different story and everything. But the one ongoing joke, and that not even joke, but what people say is like, you can just do things. You are allowed to just do something. You want to go start your own development company? Great, do it. Is it going to suck? Or do you need a plethora of different things to accomplish it? Yes. Can you just do it and then figure it out after? Yes, you can. You can just do things. I think that's the problem with most of society, is that we think that, oh, well, I was born this way, or oh, I can't do that because of this, or I can't do this. Like, no, you can. It is mind over matter. It's like when I grew up playing basketball. I was 4'5", and I was 4'7" when I was in 8th grade.
Bree's still 3'8".
Hard over height.
No.
Yes.
There is he's 3 inches taller.
She's sitting on 2 phone books over there.
It's hard over height, you know. Again, and that ties back to everything that we were talking about confidence. And sometimes I feel like I know that I come across as arrogant, cocky, etc. And that's fine, because I know, and the people that really know me know that it's not that. It is solely just uber confidence in myself, and more importantly, myself with my ability to put a team and put people together that know what the hell's going on, know that we can figure it out, and know that we can execute. Because at the end of the day, talk is cheap. Back to what my old golf coach said, talk is cheap. If you can execute on it, the world's your oyster. I
So-
really like oysters.
Me too.
2.
Earl's Premier
Yep.
is gas.
I've been meaning to go there.
Oh, you have
Where?
been?
No, I've really looked at multiple times.
Oh.
and-
Where is
Wait,
it?
where?
Earl's Premier?
yeah.
So I'm like 54th and
Is that south?
Yep.
No.
South. Yeah, I forget where in Nebraska,
Where do you go?
basically.
Yeah,
It's
South
awesome. It's like
Texas.
54th and Oak or something. It's
I don't know
east
why
of,
you're looking. I don't know.
Sorry, yeah. It's like east of Truce thing on 54th. Dude, it is a cool little spot. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You
And
heard it here
everyone's there.
first.
Everyone's there.
So I do want to touch on the confidence deal one more time, just like close that out. And Bree brought it up when you're getting into those rooms, that young is a tool. And I think one of our biggest issues in today's world with the younger generation, there's few that see things out over time, and there's majority that don't.
I had to deal with that too in hiring.
Yeah. So
I know.
you see a lot of the young generation, and I've seen it already in the 5 years we've been in business, that there's a lot of people that want some, like Dre was saying, some get-rich-quick scheme or something. They want some crazy movement over 6 months. That they see everyone's overnight success, that when no one has hyper-focus on what you're doing. The day that Aladdin opens, you're going to be an overnight success.
Correct.
At that point, and that there is like, I think for the longest time, early days at MMG, I still felt like I had that confidence. I started a
think
podcast. I spoke about confidence. I don't think I ever truly knew what confidence was until I had it.
Yeah.
And there's a time in life once the actual action plays out and the product is yielded right in front of everybody.
I think that's what's different, though, about what I'm trying to build. It's like, because I'm being open, honest, transparent, and showing everyone the development process with the Aladdin, people are going to know, be bought in, etc. before it even opens.
Yeah.
And so then when it does open, maybe I'll be wrong in a year.
So
I don't think there'll be a huge moment of, oh my God, okay, he did it. I think it'll be a moment like, oh my God, like I'm glad I've watched it all. I knew he was going to do it from not day one, but from day.
What most people want to
365.
assume, and what I assumed at a younger age all the time, was that everyone wanted Dane to win.
No one wants anyone to win.
So when
They fucking hate you. Everyone hates you.
you talk about
Everyone hates everyone.
Yeah.
Dude, are you kidding me?
So I always thought that people watched in every, like, because my mentality was that way, that I watch you winning and I'm like, dude, I love seeing it.
Because
Like,
we're good people.
Majority
people are
of
not good people.
Majority of the population, misery loves company. So when
Yes.
people are miserable, they want to go watch somebody that's going out to try to start their dream, to go do the thing that they were too terrified to ever do their whole life, and they want to watch them fall right in front of them, and they said, that's why I didn't do it. It justifies it to their brain.
Most people are, I tell my friends this all the time, human beings are a lot of things. One of them is selfish. Human beings are selfish. They think about themselves. They think solely about themselves. They don't care what other people think. The other thing that human beings are is that they will see someone else doing something that they had the ability and that they had the same set of tools, and they're doing X and you're doing Y, and you're being successful and they're not, and they go, fuck you. You had X, you had something else. It's like, no, we got dealt the same hand of cards. You just decided to take a different path. And
So
I don't honestly. I don't care. Like I am fully aware.
I'm saying when you talk about this group, that where this confidence comes, and I'm telling you, it's going to hit you like a sack of fucking bricks when it does. You're gonna work this whole thing, and you're gonna get followers. You're gonna get people that are watching. You're gonna get all this stuff, and you think that's like what's building this confidence behind. And then when it happens, all those people that were there, all of a sudden start coming out of the fucking woodwork and like, dude, I knew it was gonna happen the whole fucking time. I'm like, I haven't heard from you since fucking junior high of high school.
I've got a great example. I told my my partners the other day, because someone reached out to me and I didn't respond and all that. So I have ownership in, not even ownership, I'm a part owner in the bar that we're going to have at the Aladdin. And I cannot wait. I'm not operating it. I'm not doing any of that. I'm
Free
going to
drinks.
build out all that. And, hey, yes, we'll get MMG drinks there. But
Bree just wants a card for her. She's not even thinking about the rest of us.
Yeah.
She's just like,
Hey, we're selfish, right?
Yeah. Bree's kind of like, can I get a drink card?
I cannot wait for someone to go to the front desk and say, well, I know the owner. And to like expect something from it, because I've already told the actual guy who's operating the bar.
Wait a minute.
Hang on. To go. No, I've already told the guy who's going to be operating the bar to educate his staff, and we'll talk about it more as things get closer to opening. Of if you have to say, I know the owner, in order to get in, get a drink, do whatever, you don't know the fucking owner.
Yeah.
Because I am the most selfless person you'll ever meet, and you would be set up from day one. If I knew that you even thought about coming to the bar, or wanting to do anything, when I have people coming down from Kansas City, I go, okay, cool. You have it at your hotel. What rental service do you like? I'll get you that. And I don't have money to do that. I do it because when people are coming to my city, I want them to experience my city the way I view it and the way I see it. And the most pain in the ass part about my city is the fact that you fly into the airport and you have a 45-minute fucking drive to downtown. I don't want them to have to think about that. I want them to have to just get in the car and drive downtown, and then, cool, now you're in your bubble. If you have to go up to the bartender or whatever and be like, I know the owner, like, he's got it covered. No, you don't. Your drinks are double now. They're double priced. You're getting charged double.
When you talk about the selfless thing, like when
Because those are the people that are like, oh no, I've been following you forever, bro.
Yeah.
Like I went to middle school with you. It's like, didn't hear from you once.
Yeah.
And
now that you've made it, now they all come out of the woodwork.
So
And
everyone
we've
wants
made
you to
it-
be successful until you're doing better than them.
Yes.
So that's when people, at that point, that's when those followers that are like, kind of believe in you, and then once you become better than them, that's when they're like, hey, like, F you guys are doing this wrong, and it's like...
And my mom, my dad always taught me, like, Zach, don't care about what other people think. Like, you have to care to some extent about what people think, because you don't want to piss off the wrong crowd, and you don't want to intentionally do something wrong. especially when I'm dealing with what people don't really realize in development is I'm 40% politician in a sense. I'm dealing with city council, city staff, the mayor, having everyone every single day. I mean, hell, Saturday prior to Big Slick, I was at an event that I got invited to 2 nights before with 30 people maybe, and the 30 people comprised of the new city manager, the mayor, or all of Port KC, every single council member, and some of the wealthiest people in Kansas City for some art thing that was going on for Barney Ellis Plaza. I had no business being there. Well, I have a building across the street, but at the end of the day, I don't really have a building across the street. I have potential future upside in a building that hopefully makes money if it achieves X, Y, and Z. Like, I don't own the fucking building.
So do you currently,
investors own the building.
Do you currently own a plot of land?
No.
Technically speaking, I don't own shit.
Really?
In theory.
Yeah.
Now,
Like
on the
a
macro,
development group
yes.
owns it, but like you,
Any developer,
Yeah.
when you're doing a development, you don't own it. Like, you own upside in it. You may own you might be the manager of it, so you make all the decisions for that piece of land or that building, whatever, but you don't make money. You don't own it until the people that invested, yourself included, get their money back and then some, and then you might have ownership in it or ownership stake. But at the end of the day, like, Molzer Development doesn't own the Aladdin. Molzer Development has controlling interest in the Aladdin. Molzer Development helps make decisions with the Aladdin, and is running a lot of different things. But it is technically it's 40 partners in a way. No, they're not all equal, but that's why I think it's funny when it comes to like doing new projects of going to sending a personal financial statement or sending over a balance sheet or going to get a new loan. It's kind of funny. It's like, I don't know. I view it of like, okay, I can put together this personal financial statement that says I'm worth $1 million when it is, hey, if X, Y, Z, A, B, through fucking Z again, all of that happens, I'm worth $1 million. If A, B, C, D, E, F happen, G doesn't happen, but then the rest happen, I'm worth $1. Like, it's just funny, but then I can go get, doesn't matter, I can go get a loan off that $1 million. And I think that's the problem with most of our societies. They don't understand how basic economics work.
I think what's funny, referencing to how you just went over all that, and then you look at companies that are trying to essentially launch. Because we ran into it right in our first year or two. You go to the bank, they're like, well, let's see the numbers. It's like, we're trying to get a company off the ground.
Correct.
Well, when I started MMG, I had a decent amount of capital. I had a few $100,000 in the bank that I'd made.
Yeah.
I had the
Some
house.
cars, yeah.
I had everything else. Like, we'd done really well in the automotive space. So when I started,
But you couldn't go out and get, like the Aladdin, for example, and everyone always asks me, like, and I'm open about it. You couldn't go out and get a $30 million loan, could you?
I couldn't go out and get any.
Exactly.
I will say I only went to like one bank. I'm like,
No, exactly.
No,
They would have laughed at.
And neither could I.
The wild thing was I sat there across the table from someone, and this is where it's like. Also, I look at the position I'm in now, and my wife's very similar. Like, we'll go and we'll have some banker that just started fucking 4 weeks ago tell us some shit, and I'm like, I leave, and I'm like, fuck them. I was like, they don't even know what they're talking about. I'm like, they just got a job. They don't know shit about banking. I'm like, I know way more about what they're talking about.
You know when you're doing good at business when banks start pitching you.
Exactly. And so we go in there, and I'm like, we were getting one of our cars, and I had been on our cars. My credit was just deeper, and like when I started MMG, people were like, well, how was your credit? I'm like, I was a fucking 800 credit score. I had money in the bank. They wouldn't loan me anything because I didn't have a W-2 of set income.
Yep.
And I'm like, but when I was in college, they gave me college student loans like it was nothing. I had no job.
So like,
How much do you want? You're paying on it for life. You'll never get rid of it.
Here,
Like
have
the
as much
Aladdin,
as you want.
that's the biggest question that people ask about it. And I tell people straight up, I go, yes, we are doing a $36.5 million project redeveloping the Aladdin. I am signed on the debt, 100%. Do I have $37 million? No. Do I have a fucking trust sitting back in the back of the world has $37 million? Absolutely fucking not. How did we get a $30 million loan? We went and found people that we had to give up equity for just to have their signature. And we said, hey, we'll give you X percent. We need your signature. We want you to help be a part of this. You may not know anything about development, but you understand the project. You understand the investors that are part of it. You understand the team that we have built and put together. You understand the general scope. Do you believe that you are going to, do you believe that we're going to fail and that the bank's going to come after you for money? No, I believe that you're not going to have to do that. Great. Then this piece of paper is worth,
Sign the fucking paper.
it's free. It's not though, because personal guarantees are very risky. It's not fun. But if you structure it the right way, and you give someone what it's worth to have to do that early on, and you find those right people, you can do it.
But
It sucks and it's hard, and it took a year to find people to do that.
You're building your worth in what you're building, and you're
The Aladdin,
assembling your
the Aladdin.
assets.
My plan is I'm hopefully eventually one day with that project going to make money, but we're not. I don't plan to make money on that project for 10 years. I want all of our investors to make a stupid, silly return. I want the person that really helped us, the people, there's 3 of them that really helped us with the loan and the guarantors and everything. I want them to make a stupid, silly return, because then those people, after all that risk is gone and they've made a lot of money, they will always come back. They might not sign on debt again, which at that point, I hopefully don't have to ask them to do that. But they will come back and they will fund deals, and they will be weary, they'll be cautious, but they will be open to funding new opportunities because they saw the entire process from start to finish on what is arguably the hardest development project that you can do. You can't in theory, there's obviously very tough projects out there, but it's complicated structuring a historic tax credit project that is 16 stories, that is infill of downtown, where you have neighboring buildings that are attached to each other. You have no alley, you have no access to drop off materials, you have no parking, you have all these other things. Oh yeah, you figured that out, you did it, you bought it, got done, aligned up all these things in 2 years. Great. Wow, you did that. Well, hell, you want to go build a ground up 50 unit in Liberty? Here's your money, Godspeed, because you're not going to have any problems doing that relative of what you were dealing with now. And I think that is the biggest pro about the Aladdin. And again, it ties all back into putting together the right team, the right investors, and the right people, because it would not be possible at all without my partners, Max, Hunter, and Ben from Freehill Capital. Max, especially from structuring the tax credits. It would not be possible without Joe and Carlton Crest, what they have done from a guarantor standpoint, from a helping out with construction standpoint. But then on top of that, it would not be possible without our general contractor, our architect, our civil engineer, our mechanical engineer, our structural engineer, our 7 attorneys that we spend $700,000 on last year alone, our accountant. I mean, there's so many pieces of the puzzle that people just don't understand what happens to it. Where, yes, Zach Molzer owns his own company. I have one person technically working for me. We are a 2-man shop. I employ 200 people because I employ the general contractor, that employs the subs, that employs a lot of people. I can't just drop whatever the fuck I'm doing and go eat Panera bread. I'd love to do that. That'd be nice. I like bread bowls. Love bread bowls.
I think everyone loves a good
Are they
bread
cold?
bowl.
Yeah, cold.
We're not diving into it. We're not diving into
We're going to
it.
stay off that subject.
If it's
could be.
okay, potato soup, yes, cold. Potato soup, cold.
That's whack.
Quick rundown. Before the podcast, we talked cold, hot foods.
Cold food's better than
It
hot
was
food most of the time.
The hour-long conversation before the podcast
I had
started.
potato soup for lunch.
Was it cold?
So,
Was it soup?
Then it's a potato.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Okay,
real,
no.
It's a fucking potato.
I don't know. Okay,
It's a fucking potato.
is potato salad better than potato soup? Yes.
Yes. No.
So cold.
I hate
Absolutely
potato
not.
salad.
Yeah.
I hate cold
You're
potatoes.
so lying.
I hate cold potatoes.
Well, see,
Deviled
then
egg
that's
potato
fine.
salad's pretty fire.
So then you like cold potato soup better than hot?
54th Street's got pretty fire potato
Dude.
soup.
I don't know where that.
Best in
Again,
the world.
we're in fucking Canada right now. So I don't-
54th Street's like all the way down, I think.
I'm going to have to have
Texas.
you
I'm gonna take you to
You said all the way
56.
down.
I'm gonna
Hang
take
on.
you to 54. It's my favorite.
Where's it
restaurant.
at?
In Liberty.
They're all over.
They're all
All
over
the
now.
way
They're
down.
just
all the way down to Liberty.
they're just on the Missouri side, not Kansas.
Missouri.
Missouri.
I think
Okay.
they're going into actual Texas.
Dead ass.
Dead ass.
Dead ass.
Dead
ass?
ass.
Zach will be the second person I've heard say that.
I love I love that we're dead ass.
Did you get that from him or?
He got it for me. Yes.
Cap. Cap.
See, now they're using terms that I don't even know what they're talking about. Way too old over here.
We're hanging out with the
Dead ass means like
old
you
guys.
can't lie about it.
Like, don't lie.
Serious.
Like, don't fuck with
Like
me.
you say I'm serious, but then it's like in the line. It's
Like
like
It's
dead
fucking
ass.
serious.
It's like no,
Like, are you
seriously,
I know that. Then they're capping over here also.
Yes.
Cap
oh, so
is
you do know what it means.
Cap is stupid.
You're so hip, bro.
I have TikTok.
Bro, he's flex. He's flex.
Yeah, people ask me all the time. It's wild that like when people sit with me, they think I'm the super tech savvy one. I'm like, no. I was like, I actually hate like.
I still have an
social-
iPod Nano.
That's
Really?
wild.
iPod Nano. Okay, fuck you.
Is it cold? Is it a cold
Square
iPod?
face.
Nano?
Well, it's not warm.
Keeps in the freezer.
I think that's the only way to operate, dude.
I think
Do you know that you can have music on your phone now, so you
he's-
don't have to carry two devices?
He's got some trauma with cold shit. He's got to.
Yeah.
Because he's super offended by it. He's not happy about it.
He's very
I mean,
offended by a lot of
some of
things.
that cold meatballs. That
Yes.
One, that
No,
one got
you're
me.
trying to divert the.
Yeah, that's
Do
fucked
you
up.
know that your
Balls.
iPhone will also hold iTunes on it now? So
Yeah,
you don't
okay,
have-
here's why I do it. When I go on walks or runs or working out, I don't want to be on my phone. My phone is like a vibrator every day. I don't want to put it in my butt. I just want it to go away. So when I'm working out or I'm going on a walk or I'm doing something where I'm trying to be productive and not have to be on my phone,
Your phone
guess
can
what?
go elsewhere besides that. spot.
My pocket, still vibrator.
You keys to your phone when you go on walks?
Sometimes. Fuck you guys.
what if your shorts don't have
We
pockets?
find you on Twitter soon.
You get the point.
My phone's so hard.
I put it on Do Not Disturb. My phone is always buzzing. I don't want it
Yeah.
to buzz. And if I'm trying to do something, I'm trying to work out, I'm trying to just be productive and go listen to music or something, I don't want to have to be on my phone, and I want it to be buzzing, and I don't do all that shit. So what I do, iPod fucking Nano, plug that bitch in.
That's funny.
Put the little earbuds in with the little string. The strings get annoying. I'm not lying.
So I bought a second phone. So I thought I had a great idea.
Nope. Second phone, then you're on it twice. You're scrolling twice, then you're like,
No,
He hasn't touched the second phone in 2 years.
Yeah, so some dude named Jeff that I got his number. Dude didn't pay anybody. So I get it's spammed out all day. So that phone sits in my center console and it hasn't been charged for 5 months.
Don't worry, those
I've-
texts come to my computer, and then I'm like, bro,
Oh,
who's
fuck.
texting this?
Dude, yeah, old boy Jeff
Old
didn't
Jeff.
pay anybody. And so I really thought I was being smart. I was like, I'll get a second phone because for a long time, I went to the gym at like 4:30 in the morning. And it was just like nobody was up. So my phone never went off.
yeah,
I've been going to the gym now, like 6:30.
I'm a night guy.
And-
I'm like 8:39.
See, I can't do
My
that.
phone's. You know what?
How's it go?
You know what? You know what? You know what iPod Nanos don't do?
Vibrate.
They don't do anything. They just fucking play music. That's it.
You
There's
only
not even a skip.
are
button.
you-
I can't even find the skip button.
So
on
are
mine.
you buying iTunes all the time?
Yes.
Okay,
I
that's
have it all
funny.
downloaded. I've got it figured out mostly.
He's still donating to artists. Thank
Yeah,
you, Bree.
I am.
Yeah.
By the way, Taylor Swift's new album
Oh.
gone. I can't find it on iTunes anymore.
No.
I had to buy the new one that's published by her, which
Yeah.
so I had to pay for her
it's
album
back in
twice.
her right.
I bought her album
Do you have like
twice.
you have LimeWire on your computer that you can?
I don't even know what that is, but do I need to get it?
it in so long?
You don't know what?
Bro, you
LimeWire
ain't
It's
that
the
Yeah.
No.
Or you
It was
don't-
where
where
you can download for free.
Yeah, it was where you rip
Yeah.
songs and give your computer just
Oh my
massive
gosh.
viruses all the time. Just
Yep.
take
No
computers
shit.
down.
Now it's
Yeah.
called, I think, YMP3.
Yeah.
Am I missing something? Like, should I download that on my
Yeah,
Nano?
you should.
You should download it on your
Can you
computer, and then
download anything on
And
a
then you
Nano?
download it.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
the whole
you
point
plug
of the
in
Nano.
Nano.
He couldn't have. He goes, "Can you download anything on a Nano?" That's the whole fucking point of the
I'll
Nano.
show you.
Dude, my Nano is literally this big.
I know
What
what,
color?
a Nano
What
is.
color?
It's
Purple.
blue, light blue, light blue,
Purple.
blue.
light
It's
blue.
purple.
Purple.
Yeah, it's purple.
No, it's light blue.
It's purple.
It's
They don't
fucking
make. They don't make a
purple.
purple. They don't make a purple. I would
Don't,
love.
don't you
purple.
target me like that. It's blue.
What are you fucking doing? What are you doing, close? Are you fucking with me? No, it's blue, dude.
Someone's in their car going, what the fuck just happened
Yeah,
in my
for
ears?
real.
Why the
My mom's gonna text me tomorrow and be like, "What the fuck?"
Why would the podcast get so loud? Why they start yelling in the microphone?
Dude, no, they don't make a purple. I would have bought it. No, it's blue. It's light blue. It's a little fruity blue, but it's blue. It's
You know they're coming out with a new Nano.
It's kind of like the guy that was with me today. A little.
We're just going to skip that entire
Yeah.
conversation.
Skip the OSHA thing.
Yeah,
Cut.
that's where Dre goes down the road sometimes and he gets
All
himself
right,
kicked
I'm
off
getting
the
an ice
podcast.
cube. I'm
Pause.
time out. I'm getting an ice cube.
Okay.
And I'm gonna throw my Zen away because I felt bad. There's no trash can out here though.
Now,
There's trash can over
Is
there
there?
by under the bow.
now someone's sitting there going, podcast stop?
Oh, podcast stopped.
Did I just get yelled at
Turn
now
the
the
volume.
podcast is off?
And Zach's gone. We kicked him out.
That was fun.
We're back.
Welcome back to the M3 podcast.
Now
We're gonna teach you tips and tricks to help you succeed.
Now we're here with Bree.
Well,
This is where you plug your Jewel commercial in that you're trying to pick up.
so actually, Florida got some different kind of views pods. They're a lot lighter than the Missouri views pods.
You bought it in Florida?
Yeah, this pod.
You
But
travel with that on
usually-
a plane? I think that's illegal.
Yeah, that's fine. I still got sand in my battery.
Oh, she smashed it. I still got sand in my butt.
But do you know why Missouri would be more yellow than Florida?
Why?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Dre
Vape
normally
god.
has useless
You're the
facts.
vape god.
Yeah, vape god down
Vape god.
Not
Dre.
gonna give info I don't
there.
know.
Dun, vape god.
What? I
You don't
why.
know.
I don't know either, but I was shocked.
You always know. Or you just bullshit.
I know
with-
I'm like a walking Google, but I just don't know.
You tell me.
Did he
well,
get
did
lost
you
on the way
Google
to
it?
the ice?
Did you
100%.
Google it, Bree?
100%.
Did you Google?
Okay, so that's not me.
Did
knowing,
you Google?
Google.
That's not me
Google.
knowing. That's
Simmer
me
down.
asking you. You come ask me a question. And I'm
Google.
Like,
Did you
it?"
Google?
And
No.
I'm like, if I have to get on YouTube and do it myself,
No.
Google. Easy.
If you're in the room, I'm asking you questions.
I know. I've been in that room.
You had to have gotten lost for the ice cube.
You're like, there's not an ice cube in the toilet.
Maybe he's having a second meal. If he comes out with an ice cream sandwich, I swear to
Oh
God.
my gosh.
You guys usually wait till the end of the podcast?
I had like 10 more minutes and we're good.
Yeah, what time is it?
7:50. No.
Did you put the iPad
Love
up?
Island with the gal.
Yeah.
Oh, Love Island. Oh, speaking of that.
Last night.
Did you hear about
crazy.
the Love Island marketing tactic?
No, but last
Hey, which
night.
glass is mine?
Okay, get this.
One of them.
Get this, everyone. What?
I think it was this one.
You have a 50-50.
I think it was
Just
that one.
taste it. You know you could tell whenever you
Here,
taste
want
stuff
me
and
to
it's
lick
someone
one?
else that drank
Is
out
it-
of it.
I got him right.
No, Bree, why?
Okay.
Why is that? Oh, wait, hold on.
How do you
I
know?
can always...
Time in.
You had the big
Time.
smear
We're
on the
back
side. I
in.
was already looking at it.
All right, so what was your question?
So
Are you one of those guys?
you can taste, it tastes
like
different
this
when you
other
drink
guys.
someone else's
It's
drink.
not kissing.
What's
So if you take someone's
Kinda.
water and you drink
Really?
it, you're like, oh yeah, this isn't mine. Because I can taste it. It doesn't taste like me.
That's disgusting.
I thought you said
It's just
you
a
knew.
thing. Yeah, I do know.
What are we talking about?
When you
So Bree knows if you're drinking someone else's drink.
when you drink someone else's drink, it tastes different than.
Okay, we're
what
back.
you've
We're
been
back here
drinking.
on the M3 podcast.
We're back.
No.
But Love
Xavier's like,
Island.
we said
Love
we're
Island.
back 8 times. Xavier's like, when do I start?
So okay, I went inside
You're welcome,
to get some ice. I went inside
Sorry,
to get
buddy.
some ice cubes, and so last night I was at my girlfriend's house, and Love
You
Island. Was,
trying to flex?
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I got a girlfriend. What's up?
Some
Hey,
beers, yeah.
Hey, plug her in the chat. Gorgeous.
I can handle
gorgeous
4
woman.
years old.
So we're there last night, and Love Island was supposed to be on at like 9. I was like, or no, it was 8.
8.
Yep, 8. Bree knows.
Dude, I
8.
already know this. I've already done the research.
Well, it didn't get on till like 9:15. Blah blah blah.
8:30.
I'm there watching, waiting, and then it turns on. I'm like, okay, deuces, Godspeed. Well, I go inside to go get some ice cube, and they're watching Love Island, and I go, ladies, trust me. Here are the names, the next 6 people. They're like, I need you to come inside and watch with us. I was like, Shelly, crazy, oh my God, like wild.
Austin looks like a bird.
That's the only one with the real name, though.
Yeah. Okay, so
All
get
of the
this.
names are whack.
This is actually business shit.
Muna, Shelly,
It doesn't matter.
kind of.
If you're,
Not
if
really,
you're listening
because
right
this
now,
is
you're
a
getting
marketing
nothing else.
tactic. Okay.
Marketing tactic. Oh,
So
Bree.
listen, they said 8 p.m. is when it starts. Okay, 8
Are we
p.m.
recording yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, again?
Bree,
Never
Bree's right.
stops.
Bree,
Eight-
Bree, hang on. Bree is right about this. This
8
is
p.m.
one of the best marketing
It
tactics.
is.
If it is marketing,
It is.
I think
Or
it is.
just a
though.
royal fuck.
Get this, guys.
It might be a marketing tactic.
Okay,
All right,
8
Bree,
p.m. 8 p.m. It starts. Everyone's on. It's not showing up on Peacock. Everyone's freaking out. So I'm like, oh, I need a premium subscription. I fucking up my plan, and then I'm like, wait a second, let me see what Twitter's saying. I get on Twitter. Peacock puts on Twitter, hey, we just got a text. The episode's gonna be delayed.
Delay.
But you know how many people upped their plan
You.
because of that?
You.
Yes, I did. I go, they got me. Kudos. I'm going to keep it. But
I'm gonna keep it.
isn't that awesome?
No commercials. I'm in.
You know, Dre still listens to
then-
commercials on Pandora.
Okay,
So-
that's not where I thought she was going with it. That's just kind of fucked and stupid. But
Why? They just got so much more money because everyone upped their plan.
I don't
thinking
think
that-
many people up their plan.
I think a lot of.
Bree's like, dude,
Wait
Wait a second.
I don't.
like, why did this one girl up her plan?
I don't.
No, but everyone was freaking out in the
They
comments.
were freaking
until,
out.
Yes,
I don't think
Okay,
people
so
up
what
their
was
plan.
your marketing play?
he doesn't
my,
fucking.
my marketing thing was like they had
You were saying
they
that
had
she was.
they had 3 million people log on to Peacock at the same time, and then they were like, "Oh, wait, if there's no such thing as bad publicity unless you say or do something very, very bad." It was trending on Twitter. Peacock, Love Island, Peacock. It started 30 minutes late, but everyone's talking about Peacock. I don't care
I will say-
whether you view that bad or not. I'm telling you,
good.
we're talking about it right now, are we not?
I will say when it comes to,
Things like that.
we were talking about at the office.
Because people are
today.
going to fucking pay for it or
There's,
not.
or we were talking about earlier. The easiest way to sell me on something is tell me I can't have it.
Yep, we talked about that
Like,
earlier. Yep.
If you take something away from people, it's wild. How
The links they'll go to
Yeah.
get it.
Yes.
But
or
it
want
was
to get it,
crazy
or
seeing
the
the
option to get
comments. It was like I was refreshing all the fucking time, and as soon as it hit like the 30-minute mark, people were like, "Okay, now I'm pissed. Like this, like I need to go to bed. I like this is pissing me off." And then they fucking uploaded it immediately. And
I mean,
was
I
like,
pay
"That's
like
crazy."
I paid $2.99 an episode to watch Pawn Stars at night. So
I love Pawn
What?
Stars.
How
Great
do you
show.
pay?
Hey, I'll be in
for
Vegas.
I'll
one-
watch, like,
one
two of 'em a
show?
night.
How do you watch?
$2.99.
Why?
I fly out to Vegas tomorrow night.
Why?
What are you watching it on?
Amazon Prime has all of them, and I just go pick the episode I want, and instead of
Buy it.
Two
Buy
ninety
it.
nine.
Buy
like-
all of them.
It's
What?
on
Buy
Peacock.
all of them.
Buy a
This
different
is on
subscription
Peacock.
that has all of them.
Yeah.
well, I just pay
For
$2.99
like
each time.
Idiot.
$8.99 once a month.
Then they'll give me forever. Maybe one day when I'm done, I'm not going to charge you anymore.
After you paid like $400.
Oh, do you buy them? Like, are they renting?
I buy them.
Buy
I,
them.
own
Oh, so you
them.
can always watch them then.
I don't watch the episode again.
Well, you might when you're fucking 70 or something.
Yeah, they only have like 2 or 3 seasons. Yeah, how
On
many-
Hulu.
You have Hulu.
On Amazon Prime.
I have it's
On
on
free on
Amazon
TV.
Prime, but it is not free. One season is free. They have 26 seasons
Tubi,
on there.
Tubi. I'm pretty sure Tubi's
Just get
Yeah.
cable, bro.
free.
Just get
I
cable.
just deleted it.
Tubi's platform's free.
I actually just got rid of our satellite that we've had since we moved in.
Damn.
I was paying like $275 a month.
How are you gonna
Yeah.
watch the news?
He got YouTube TV for $80.
Yep,
Oh
I
my
saved money.
I literally
as long
had
as-
to try to convince
As long as I don't
everyone.
spend over $200 a month on Pawn Stars, I'm net positive.
By the way, cable TV was like $100 a month.
Was
No.
it?
DirecTV, I had all of it.
No, my mom's
Steal it from
currently paying
hotels
for
and they can
Spectrum TV. She's paying $295. I told her, I'm like, Mom,
That is still cheaper than having all the platforms.
$295.
Yes, with internet, 100%.
no.
That is totally with internet. You just said it was with internet.
No, hers is
I
with
said
internet,
it was
but
with
I
Yeah,
paid less than
$290.
I paid less than that with all my subscriptions.
I'm
And
saying if you
internet?
have all of them,
And internet.
if you have
I feel like this is one of those Theo Vaughn podcasts.
I have a gig internet. I have Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu,
Peacock.
HBO Max, and Apple TV.
nope, you don't have Peacock, you're fucked.
Peacock's yeah, that's fucked.
I have YouTube TV.
Peacock's
Doesn't matter.
better.
No
Do
Peacock.
I need
Peacock's the
Peacock?
champion.
Hey,
Oh, do you have ESPN Plus? Do
Do
you
I
have
look
all
like
this
I'm
other-
peacocking over here, bud?
hey,
I don't know.
I have
Peacock's
every
the
one of
best.
them.
And then he's over here trying to
But I
sell how
buy
he's net positive.
Individual pod.
You know, a lot of people have streaming platforms. I created the platforms. I am the platforms.
the best
Sleepy Joe doesn't have the platforms.
But the best platform
Trump
is,
platform, a great
is
platform.
YouTube TV.
MAGA,
Should
please
come out on the
vote.
platform.
Gonna be huge. Huge
So,
platform.
we were at the office one day, and is that the second streaming service you now have?
I feel like we're kind of getting off track.
did.
That's Peacock's the only one that I pay for. I got
I
HBO,
thought-
Paramount, fucking Hulu.
Get her, get her.
I ain't got Netflix because
She's
they only
mooching.
do one address, which is
I don't
stupid.
pay for any platform because I don't have time to watch anything.
So
I
I'm not a
watch
big TV person.
National Treasure on repeat when I want to.
On my Nano.
And by the way, good call.
It's audio version only.
And by the way,
I ripped it off of LimeWire.
I know exactly what
I know
scene it
every
is.
fucking word to that movie. Both 1 and 2.
My favorite movie is The Goonies. So I have it on VHS. I don't have a VHS player.
I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
I have...
What is it? I piss excellence? I piss I can't even say it.
I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
That's National Treasure. All right. We need to bring this back home. Xavier, cut out whatever you need to there. Where were we at? I had all these questions on here. I don't know if any of them
I like
It's so crazy to think that me and
were
Zach
good.
are the same age.
I actually ripped it off of your LinkedIn.
Oh. LinkedIn.
Okay, what is your why when money is off the table?
That's a great question. I've always said for the past 2 years is I want to create and develop housing that doesn't make sense fiscally upfront in areas and communities that need it. So example being I would love to buy between 75th and 85th and Troost and completely redevelop that whole area. Will not math, but in 20 years after you build brick townhomes with condos, rentals, then you build apartments, you build single-family homes, etc. It's a legacy asset and something that will be there forever and be talked about, and there'll always be people living there.
Which I've always went with the point of if you play the long game, people that play short game lose or win small.
I just think that like most people are, I don't know, maybe this is just selfish or stupid thinking, but like I feel like most people that have a lot of money are very stupid with their charitable donations in the way that I think that they could be charitable with their donations and give money to things that actually really, really help the macro economy and macro environment of life as opposed to just one organization.
And that,
If Kansas City got a $1 billion grant right now that said you have to build housing, that would solve the housing problem in Kansas City. If Warren Buffett were to pass away today and all $140 billion of money were to go 100% towards housing, you pair that $140 billion with a loan, then with some equity, you could have $800 billion of housing. That would not only solve the housing problem in the United States, that would solve the housing problem in most of the country. But no.
yeah.
I'd rather give it to other places. Not shit. I mean, Warren's made his money. He can do whatever the hell he wants with it. Don't care. I'm just saying what I would do with it. If I'm ever worth that, then that's...
I have a buddy that I've been
just think
friends with for a lot of years, and it's crazy that when I was building MMG, I'm sitting at these nonprofit events, and I'm putting up. They're asking for open donations. I'm putting up a bunch of money, and I'm making big donations to it. And he's like, he goes, I thought you were struggling with payroll and stuff last week. I'm like, I am.
So I'm in the same boat. It's funny you say that. I'm in the same boat right now where it is campaign season, and there are a lot of people that I'm involved with, whether it be on the Kansas side or Missouri side, where they're raising money for their campaigns. And yeah, I'm not cash rich by any stretch. I'm not broke, but I'm not sitting on a lot of money. I'm donating to people's campaigns that I feel strongly about and that I will help support. And I'm also involved in a lot of different charities. I mean, I'm in Big Brothers Big Sisters. I'm raising money right now for Band of Angels. I'm part of the
We had Mike Myers on.
Yep, I'm part of the Seven Figures Club for Big Brothers Big Sisters, raising $18.5 million for their new Big Brothers or Big Futures program.
Excited about that.
It's going to be awesome. They're doing an expansion of Big Brothers Big Sisters of their downtown location to buy the building next door and make that into their Big Futures program. So what it's going to do is help individuals and the littles not only have a mentor, have someone that they can go to for different life events and things like that, but also help educate them on what is a career path that you want to go to. Well, let's help dive you into that career path. Let's immerse you.
So it's something that as MMG has progressed and something that I've always, and I've talked to Michael about this, and it's something I want to encompass more in what we do as we move forward, is showing people different avenues. That I'm the one of the seated vice presidents for Police Athletic League. We work with Folds of Honor. We work with Big Brothers Big Sisters. And as we've moved forward, that's a lot more of our purpose and our identity.
Exactly.
Identity of my buddy that at a lot of the events, he's like, I always saw that you give a lot of this money. He's like, and I know what you were going through. And he's like, and you sit there and you do it and not think twice about it. And
Because you can't, like, when you love Kansas City.
But to that point when we were there, he was at an event with me recently. He gave a big amount of money, and he's like, that's the first time I've ever given that kind of money at an event. He calls me the next day at like 10:30. He's like, dude, it's like, I literally just hit these 2 deals this morning that were 2 of the biggest deals I've had probably the last 6 months. And I told him, I was like, I'm telling you, every single time I go to those things, and I'm like, and I do those things, I'm like, good things happen to good people. I was like,
Amen. Don't ever give expecting something in return, but life is.
It just pans out the way it's supposed to. I'm like, it doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
it may not happen immediately, whatever it may be, but I'm like, do the right thing when you were put in the position to do that thing.
I went
was
to El
like-
Pollo Rey the other day and had some leftover chicken, and I was like, yeah, you know, I'll take it over for leftovers. Tiny example, but I saw this guy. He's always kind of outside the Aladdin stuff. His name is Richard. He's homeless, but he's not. There's some homeless that cause problems, and there's homeless that are just simply homeless. And Richard is one of those. He's just kind of vibing. And I walk up to Richard to get
Kinda
my
vibing.
leftovers. He's just no, he is. He's just vibing. He's not on drugs. He's not doing like I
That'd
I
be
see
me as a
Richard
homeless
every
person.
day. He's not on drugs or anything like that. He's just vibing. Whatever he's going on with his life mentally, physically, etc. I don't ask questions, but I was walking through and I was like, damn, I really like this chicken. I would really like it for breakfast tomorrow morning since it'd be cold and all that, which
Hey.
I was gonna say something, but I didn't.
I did.
Cold fried chicken?
No, it
So
wasn't
good.
fried. It's just regular chicken.
Not fried chicken.
And I give him the box of leftovers. I go, hey, have you had lunch today? He goes, nah, I haven't had lunch, Zach. I was like, here you go. Here's some chicken. He goes, why do you always treat me so well? And I was like, because you treat me well. He's like, well, I haven't done anything. I go, exactly.
So
Exactly.
My
I
wife,
looked at him and we just kind of locked eyes, and then I walked into the Aladdin, and I hope and I know that resonated with him of he hasn't done anything in the way of there are people not of the past 6 months, but there are people that tried to break in, people that have caused mayhem and havoc and bad things. And Richard, he hangs out there. He vibes. Why? Because there's shelter right next door. There's a little garage. He can go in when it's raining, when it's cold, all that stuff. I just give him shit, etc. But it's because he doesn't do anything. He doesn't harm us. He doesn't do anything wrong. I think that's the problem with a lot of people is they just assume that people that don't have a home or people that are doing technically bad things are all like that, right?
So if people ask me for things, I'm the first one that, like, if you ask me for it, I'm not giving it.
No.
And it's like, it's the same way in the
There's a
company.
different
Like,
way to ask. Like I am gonna ask you. I don't want to say ask, but I'm gonna tell you about Band of Angels and say I would love a donation. Love that.
but like things like that, like
Different.
I'm fine with that as like a company, but like
Dane, I'd really love to kiss you. Bad. Don't you do that.
That's
No.
gonna be a cut.
yeah, but it's Dre's
That's
like
gonna be in the
Dre's
real-
like
Weird.
I'm
Dane, I
over
really
here.
want to kiss you.
Yeah.
Dre,
Not the rat. No.
quit
You
looking
don't
at
need to go down
quit looking at me like that.
But my wife's like all the time.
Ooh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
You see,
Do
you
not
see how
come.
Dane threw in my wife?
I'm gonna do it. Do not
got a
come.
wife. I got a wife. Okay.
I'm gonna come. Cut.
But
In the company.
What were you saying?
In the
Yeah.
company.
no,
What was that, Dane?
my wife has always talked to me about. She's like, anytime you see people that I don't give money to homeless people sitting on the side of the road, ringing their thing or whatever. I will walk down the road. I always have cash in my pocket. And if I see somebody that's there, that's not messing with anybody, that's not asking for anything, and I'm not talking that they're like KO'd on the street, but like just sitting there minding their own business, I will give them money every time.
I've got a good story that really resonates with my father, and it's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned growing up and in general. And I don't think most people would get it or understand it from the way that I think that I do. And maybe I'm wrong, but growing up and even to this day, my dad is weird. He's done well with his life. He's been successful. and he donates to charity, etc. But his main way of giving is really spontaneous moments that are often just odd. We'll be at a restaurant, for example. This happened about a month ago. We're at the golf course, and the waitress comes up, and she was just talking about her life, what's going on. Like, yeah, I just got done with grad school. I'm here working at the country club, trying to make an extra buck before I go and start my own thing. He's like, well, what are you doing? Blah, blah, and just trying to learn more about her. And then she goes to get us a drink, and she comes back, and my dad goes, all right, I want to sit down and talk with you. He goes, I want to give you $3,000.
Wow.
And she starts like, back up, like, what do you mean? And he's like, I want to help do this. He goes, I know you got a kid at home that you're trying to take care of right now. I know you've got X, Y, and Z. You're a passionate girl. I love and appreciate it. Met you tonight. I have one rule. I don't want you to go and spend that $3,000 on anything except for yourself. You just said that you're moving in a new apartment and that you are trying to get furniture and all that. I don't want you to go and spend that $3,000 on furnishing the apartment, on getting a couch or getting a nightstand, all that. I want you to go and spend this money on something stupid. I don't want you to go to Vegas and blow it on something like that, whatever. You get the point.
Yep.
I want you to go buy a fucking huge TV. I want you to go buy a massive recliner couch that's just stupid. I want you to go do something dumb with it because I want you to realize that what you're doing is that you can afford and that you can eventually get to the point where that's meaningful. But I want you to sit on that couch every day or look at that TV every day and think, I can do that. I can buy that one day. And like, he does that once every other time with him. I would see him probably once a month, once every 2 months. And every time I'm with him, he does something like that. And it's not just with me. It's just in general. That's his way of like giving. Because to your point, he doesn't want to give shit. He doesn't want to just be like, here's this. I'll donate $10,000 to Children's Mercy. It does matter, but he wants something that is meaningful. It's like, I don't ever want to hear about it. And so what he did with that moment, with that chick, he goes, I'll see you probably in a couple weeks, because he goes to the same club all the time. He goes, I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Which club?
Country Club of Leawood.
Okay.
He goes, I want you, when you see me next, I don't want you to say anything to me. I don't want you to tell anyone about this. I just want you to come up to me and show me a picture of what you bought. That's all I want to know. I just want to see what you bought. And I'm going to make fun of you if you bought something fucking stupid. But that means it's good. And so she came up to him. He texted me last night. He goes, hey, remember that chick that was at the bar, blah, blah. I was like, yeah. And he's like, look what she bought. And she got a like 3-screen monitor, like kind of the circle. It's not a 3-screen, but it's like a curved one. Because she does data analytics for a company while being a bartender. And then she got this, it's actually I'm kind of pissed off, a little jealous. Sick couch. It's got like full recliners. It's got like the massage thing on it. And it's a 2-seater, but it was like $2,000. And she was like, I would have never bought this, ever. I mean, ever. But I listened to you and said, I'm going to buy something stupid that I thought was cool, that's going to make my life happier. And she goes, this has been awesome. That speaks volume in a plethora of different ways. But most importantly, what it's taught me is that, like, human beings, everyone goes through different walks of life and goes through different things and appreciates different things. That moment and that aspect of her was transformational. And I will sit there and I will think about that moment for a long time. And I will argue that she will be more successful because of that.
Most of the time, I look at most companies and a lot of organizations donate money. It's really easy for a business to say, hey, we're putting up this money because we need tax write-offs, we need all these things. So it's like MMG puts up a lot of money for a lot of those things. And I do hold true to those being great things that we're doing. We're making a difference in Kansas City. But the things that hold most true to me are the things that nobody actually knows about. There's so many times I'm at breakfast in the morning down at the diner that there's people that are in there that are struggling to afford a breakfast.
That you can just tell. And you're like,
and I'm just like,
I want to pay for their breakfast.
There's been mornings I've been sitting in the diner, I've looked around, and I've literally looked at everybody in that diner, and I've thought about how thankful I am for my life, and I've had the lady come over, and I was like, I'll cover everyone's meal.
That's what we do every Christmas Eve. We make cookies at my parents' house. I talked to this last time we were at Ugly Joe's.
Yeah.
We make cookies. My dad lives on 103rd Mission. So my stepmom, myself, my sister who's normally in town, and myself, we all make cookies Christmas Eve. And then Christmas Eve night, we go to Ugly Joe's, which is, for those who don't know, it's
Great
a kind
bar.
of great bar, a little divey on 103rd and State Line. We go there and we bring all, 120 cookies that we make. And we go there, we bring cookies and give them out to people. You would not believe how packed that bar is on Christmas Eve. And it's eye-opening because it's not the people that you think that should be there. It's people that either are the single dads that they don't have their kid this Christmas Eve. It's not the degenerate fucks. It is the people that are just living life and they got nothing else to do. And oh shit, Ugly Joe's the only bar that's open on Christmas Eve. We're giving out cookies, and again, back to my dad and what he's instilled in me and again, it's not even just money, it's just life of like bar tabs covered. It's not encouraging drinking. It's, hey, I know my dad was there at one point. When my parents got divorced when I was 3, my dad was on his own. I lived with an apartment with my mom. My dad was trying to build a company and do all that, and I saw him once every 6 months, and that's what he gets it. And I think that's one of the biggest things why I'm so selfless, or at least think I'm selfless, in the sense of I want other people to succeed, and I want other people to live their life understanding that you can just do things. You can.
I think it's something that people just have it in them or they don't. And it's like deep down inside, people all have a core to them. Mm-hmm. I think some people just have a great core, and I think there's some people that have a bad core. And I think there's people that I know that have a bad core that hide behind things that they think make them good.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, I will say 90% of my life, I feel like I've been able to read the good people well.
I like being able to read people. It's important.
I will say, I thought I used to think I was really good at it. I will say I fell.
And then you get fucked.
It does. And
you're like, I know that guy. And
There's
you're like,
vetting
then you get
processes now.
Then you get fucked. And you're like, oh, well, all right.
Bullshit.
And I will say,
Because that happened to me.
It's happened
at
to me.
a very young age. It happened to me. I
It's happened to
trusted
me
someone, and I got
multiple people, and I let people
more than fucked than I will ever admit on the camera.
I let people inside my walls, that I let people around people that I care about. I let people influence people I care about in a way that it was a great learning experience, but it's also something that it does put up a little bit bigger walls, and it does put up something that you have to, not in a way vet, but it's also like it makes you say, hey, okay, I'm not as good at this as I thought I was. Because I used to think I'm reading people, I'm the fucking guy.
The biggest tool.
I'm the guy. And then a few people get past, and all of a sudden you're like,
Well, I think part of that too is them being fake and you trusting them.
But the thing is, reading people, you have to be able to, what makes someone good at reading people is reading the fake people. And I read people based on words, not actions.
Yep.
And
that goes full circle.
And it brings us right back to the very beginning of the podcast. It's something that I speak with people now, and I have people that sit in our walls, not employed by us, but I sit with business owners that they say one thing,
and you watch what they do, and you're like,
I will literally call people on their shit now, straight up. I'll have business owners sit there and they're like, we're going X, Y, and Z, blah blah blah, and they're telling me their whole idea of where they're going. And I'm like, I sit there and I'll get real serious and I look at them. I'm like, there's nothing that irritates me more in my office than people that just come in and speak of ideas. And
I call them visionaries. I joke with people, there's a lot of developers out there, or just individuals, not just in Kansas City, but that I used to look up to, respect, and all that, because they were doing cool shit. There are a lot more visionaries out there that are like, oh, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do X, Y, and Z, or, hey, I've got an idea for this, but they don't know how to execute. That's why I like building in public and doing what I'm doing, because most people, when they put a building under contract, they're not saying and calling the business journal saying, hey, all right, I'll let you run a story. And they're like, but you're under contract, you haven't bought it yet. I go, run a story. I'm buying it, and here's what I'm fucking doing. If I'm wrong and I can't execute on it, run a fucking story. I'll tell you why it didn't happen.
Yeah.
If someone offers me X amount of money to flip the building and flip the contract to them, and I walk away with good coin, let's run a story. Hey, I know I said you guys I was buying this building and I was going to flip it for this, or I was buying this building. Here's what I was going to do. I got an opportunity to flip for this. I wish the building owner the best of luck. Godspeed. Let's go. But most developers and all that, it's literally not even most. It's a world that is not talked about. You don't do that. You do not talk about a project that you're doing unless you own it, you are doing it, you are under construction, everything's approved, all that. Which, I am still yet, I have investors on board, I have lenders on board, but I don't have full committee approval. I don't own the building yet. I'm a month and a half out from closing. I'm talking about the Holtman, the project in the Crossroads, like it's my project. Why? Because it is what I'm going to do the second I close, and everything leading up to that, I'm spending money on right now that I'm going to do it. I wouldn't talk about it if I didn't know that I not only could do it, but execute on it.
I wouldn't call it a visionary. I'd call it like an idea person because I will say... Ideist. I will say there's people in business that are visionaries, and then there's people that implement.
You need both. You need both. But sometimes you have the visionaries that think that it's theirs, and there's like they're doing it. And it's like, no, you just had an idea, or you just happen to own this piece of land. Don't act like you're a developer.
That's the type of person
you didn't do shit.
They create an idea.
You got lucky because
they have an idea, but like they don't even have a vision behind it. They have an idea. The visionary is the one that like they see full scope of start to finish. They have the vision.
The visionary executes.
So
Correct.
I will
the
say
vision will sit there and execute.
So
that's why the
it's
visionary
like renderings, the actual architect.
Well,
they create a vision.
A lot. There's
and
so
the
many
builders.
steps.
The person has an idea saying like, "This is end goal." If you read, how the fuck you getting there? They're like, "Well, this is the idea." It's like, no, you.
Well, no, it'll get there, bro. Like, it'll work. Like, okay, it might work, right? It might work, but what are the steps to get there?
You have to put,
bro. It'll work.
If you read like the book Scale Up, talks about or Rocket Fuel. If you read Rocket Fuel, it talks about the greats in a lot of industry lines have came from two brothers. And when I read that book, it spoke about these brothers that most of the time, when you have two brothers, one will be a visionary, one will be an integrator.
What are you, Dre?
That if you look at
integrator,
if you look
I don't
at
even know what that word means.
Walt Disney and Roy Disney, like.
Have you read the book? If you haven't, you probably haven't. It's a very small book and weird book. It is about Walt Disney. It's called
Our guest.
No, it's called Buying Walt Disney World. It is a 120-page book. It is. I'm not a big book guy, but I do like reading books. Just not.
This is the biggest Disney fan ever.
So
this book is about Walt buying Walt Disney World down in Florida, and is before he passed away and everything. They had
Epcot. So when he was doing Epcot, because like
this is before then. I'm telling you, you have to read this book. I'll give you the high level.
Yeah.
They were going. So he said, "Hey, I want to do Walt Disney World because he had Walt Disneyland in California." He goes, I want to do another one. And they were like, okay, well, Walt Disneyland at the time was doing fine, but nothing killing it. Then it started to pick up. He goes, okay, well, let's find the next spot. He was on his jet, Walt, without his brother, was on his jet, flying around with 8 attorneys, about 1,000 square feet up. So like today, you can never replicate this today. You could not. You just couldn't do it, just because technology and people seeing shit and all that. They were flying over the Florida swamplands, and Walt was going, "Okay, I want this. 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 Okay, I don't want that. I want that. I want this." And then all the attorneys got together, like, "Guys, this would be the largest land accumulation in the history of the world outside of the Louisiana Purchase. There's no way this is possible." And they went to Walt, and they go, "Walt, so what you pointed out on our little plane ride was 750,000 acres, whatever it may be, of land."
So there's a documentary on TV about this.
It's a book. This book's better. I'm telling you.
So they talk about
Walt, there's no way you can do that. And he goes, okay.
They did it under all these different LLCs. Like,
it is the most intricate shit. No one knew. No. So the problem was, let's say you're Walt Disney, and you know that. Let's say you're Walt Disney, and you're just
I want to be Walt Disney.
you're Walt Disney. You're someone who's a property owner in Florida, and you obviously own what's going on in California. You have Walt Disneyland, fucking killing it.
Yeah.
And you're flying around. You're like, hey, I want to buy this home. Okay. You own that home.
Okay.
If he finds out that you, Walt Disney, want to buy this home, what happens to that home? Price goes up. Price increases considerably because Walt Disney's buying it. Now, think about it on a scale of hundreds of acres at a time. Like, hey, I'm buying this land. I'm buying this land, this land, this land, this land. So you own this land. Well,
So-
what does that mean? That means that this land price can go through the roof.
Yeah.
Well, not if you don't know who's buying. You don't know who bought this or who bought this. Just a coincidence. Your price is the same.
He was mass purchasing, and
the
ultimately,
largest land
Is it
accumulation.
because the internet was like you could
No,
find
internet
shit
wasn't
on
a thing.
online.
It was a
Even if-
plethora
even
of
if it was
shit.
the internet, it
So
would have been
it
a
was
little
the-
more complex, but he
Walt-
would have figured it out.
Walt
It was the
had an
most
idea.
intricate shit. He's not just a guy who fucking started Walt Disney
No.
World. It was the most intricate and unbelievable accumulation of land. And the book is about development. It is fucking believable.
He is the best visionary that I think that has lived in the last 250 years.
But what else he did? He figured out.
so
Sorry to interrupt.
his-
He executed because he brought a team together like a developer does.
Correct.
That said, I need 12 attorneys. I need this. I need this. And his brother didn't believe in him. His brother said he's fucking stupid.
So Roy was the finance guy. So
Roy said, this is dumb as shit.
Dre.
Roy did not agree when he was acquiring all the land, but when he was acquiring all the land, when he was acquiring all that, what Epcot was supposed to be 100x the size. So
Huge.
Walt had an idea of a true train system that ran between all these countries, that people lived there, and all the people that worked there lived in the respected country of what it was. So his idea of Epcot was way bigger than
Unfathomable.
what any of us think of. Walt was thinking of something 1,000 times bigger.
If you were to do it
Epcot
today-
was built
if you were
was
to do it today-
after Walt passed.
Yes.
Roy built Epcot just because it was Walt's idea.
Walt had the
That's
idea of
fucked.
everything. Walt had most of the land
He
accumulated.
downsized it.
Walt had most of the land accumulated at the time he passed away, everything. And then Roy came in and said, this was my brother's passion. This is what my brother wanted to do. He obviously we built Walt Disneyland.
Yeah.
He spent the rest of his 20 years before he died at 60 or so
Yep.
getting this already. He goes, I'm not letting it die. He had to notch it down a little bit. The craziest part, again, you got to read the book because the movie probably doesn't go to the intricacies
So it was a
of
full
the
documentary on the whole
No,
thing.
but I bet that
what?
does not go into the intricacies of the legal stuff. The legal side of it was fucking insane. Of not just the land accumulation.
I think it was what?
But
it
the
was
fact that they're technically
it
in
was
its
80
own
something different LLCs that had purchased.
It's
so it was
in
like
its own territory. They have their own taxes. They have their own
So they made a
laws.
deal,
They
so-
have their own with the state of Florida.
Disney
they had
worked a thing after he bought all that land. Walt had went to the state of Florida after he acquired all this land and said, "I will build here, but you tax exempt us." That they run as their own. Like if we had
It's
a
its own city.
51st state,
it'd be that.
it would be that.
And it,
like
to this day, it is that. It is the way Walt Disney World, not land, but world down in Florida. It is basically its own state, its own government body. It has its
I didn't
own.
know that.
It has its own council members. It has. It's literally like a fucking city/state.
We need
in
to
its
take
own.
MMG there.
It is unbelievable the way that Walt and his brother Roy, Walt with the idea, and that started it. Roy saying, "I'm going to finish this job and I'm going to execute it." We're able to do it, but again, going back to the whole point of it takes a village. It's not just two brothers. It was on that plane was 7 attorneys, and go read it. Some of the attorneys were, "Oh, my brother is the Secretary of State. Oh, my brother is the mayor of Florida."
Oh,
or
the
governor."
pairing of
They knew the
everything.
people.
Yeah.
They knew the people. They knew. Again, it goes to everything about development. I guess that's why I'm trying to tie it
Do you
back
know the
to
Disney point?
Uh-oh.
the Disney point.
The Disney point. Hey, you know what? Because they didn't know. So if you ever ask anyone at Disney World, how do they point to something?
Dre had no reason. He had no
but
idea
if you
why.
ask anyone that works at Disney World, they point somewhere a certain way.
Why?
They point like that with 2 fingers because Walt.
Dre tried to tell
The
me
brothers.
he's like, no,
And
Dre,
it's a fact.
The brothers! The
No,
brothers!
It's not the Dre. Dre tried to say, he's like, because Mickey Mouse doesn't have enough fingers.
I never said Mickey Mouse. I never said Mickey Mouse.
Dre said some stupid ass shit like that. And I looked it up. I Googled it. I Googled it. It's because Walt always had
the
a
Disney
cigarette.
point. So if you ask anyone there, like, where's something's at, they'll always point with 2 fingers.
That's funny.
I want your address, and I want everyone here's address, and anybody that listens to the podcast drops a comment, follows Molzer Development, and shares this on their story. I will send you the book too, because I have a lot of copies of this book.
You know my address. Come on.
Got you. It is the best. It's 100 pages. It is the.
Like
I'm not not a big book guy. I read that book. I was like my partner Max on the Aladdin said, "Hey, I'm gonna get you this book." And he got me the book, and I started reading it like I don't know 7:30 at night on a Tuesday. I was done by 9:30, and I was like, "Max, that is fucking insane." He goes, "What was insane?" I was like, "I finished the book." He goes, "Right."
Have you read Be Our Guest? So it's like,
Yep.
You can ask Bree.
I haven't read that book.
I'm not talking about the book.
I know.
When it comes to MMG, the things that I focus on, like when you talk about Walt doing studies on how far a trash can has to sit until someone drops a piece of trash. Like he's like 27 feet is on average how far someone will walk before they drop a piece of trash.
People do not understand the curation of that. Again, to me, this was 70 years ago. I mean, this was people don't understand that. Like even today.
Somebody does that today, they will be so wildly successful.
And that is
Take
why
notes from what he did, put it in today.
Curation.
You still win.
Any fucking business.
That's exactly what my plan is with the Aladdin is. Hey.
If I walk in there and a trash can is over 27 feet,
there's trash can in every unit. My point being is this: name another apartment project in Kansas City that has marble mosaic tile in every bathroom. Why the fuck would I spend money doing that?
Well, not even that.
Because it's badass. Media. Why do I have a social media following more than every apartment complex in Kansas City? Because I know that when people follow me, people follow the project, and people will talk about it and go, damn, I want to fucking live there. Yeah. I want to live there. Yeah. Why is it there's so many different reasons for it, but that's where I know that I have the competitive advantage because every other developer, every other property manager, everyone like that, they don't get it because they're either older or they just don't want to understand it. I have that advantage, and my team that what I'm building has that advantage of let's do it. If we're wrong, then we're just like everybody else.
But ultimately,
when we're right, everybody else is going to copy us.
Ultimately, on all of it, though, the things that win in business don't always make sense on a spreadsheet.
No, it's not all just math.
If you sat with Walt, the reason that Walt and Roy butted heads, because Roy focused on a spreadsheet and Walt only cared about the customer experience. And it's like, it's literally like the same thing. Like I told Dre, like I don't care what things cost.
Looking at the spreadsheets.
I literally, truly don't. When people come
I just convinced my partner today, we are buying. This is actually hot news.
Hot news.
Very hot news. Huh? We are buying. It will be open at the grand opening, but only the podcast knows this. We are getting a 4-foot Lego replica of the Aladdin built. Wow. It's fucking insane. It is 2 feet by 4 feet. It is about the same height as Bree. Huge.
I was going to say, I'm going to stand next to that.
And it will be.
Did you say Bree was 2 feet wide?
Make it 5 foot. Mostly. Just so it's.
It is unbelievable what he's going to build. And he built one for Power and Light Building. We are doing that. And does the numbers work for us to pay for it? Fuck no. It's expensive. Do I know that will pay off in the future? I can't even put a metric to it.
Hindsight after the fact, like after the podcast, I think we need to know what that costs.
Yeah, we want to.
After the podcast.
It's I mean, it will pay off in one night, in my mind. One night. Because it'll be unveiled at our opening, and that night will pay off because we'll be fully leased before then. But that night, it will be people talking about it for a while. It will be people coming back to the bar for a while. It will be people coming and talking about saying, hey, Zach, I want you to look at this project. Hey, Zach, this was an awesome event. Let me know when you have another project. I'd love to invest. It opens up the doors for everything because what that does is a focal and center point, and that ties back into everything that we're trying to do with that one project with the Aladdin is challenge the status quo. what is the status quo? Build apartments, people live there, they move out, they buy a home, they start a family. This is not that. This is people live there and they go, I fucking love to live here. This is awesome. I feel like I'm living back in the 20s. I feel like I am a part of a community, feel part of a lifestyle, and I love the area I'm in, and I love it, and I don't want to leave. And eventually they will leave, and I hope that they do, because I want them to go and start their own family. I want them to go and buy a home, because they're not doing that at the Aladdin. The Aladdin is not meant for that. The Aladdin is meant for people that are making $50,000 to $60,000 a year, that just graduated college, that don't want to live at home with their parents, that want to get all their shit out of there. They don't want to live with a roommate because they want their own space. But they can't afford $2,000 a month in rent. They can't afford to go and spend 50, 60% of their income on rent. They can afford to pay $14, $15 a month in rent to live where they want to live, to have a park, to have secured parking, to have the same amenities as 1, 2, and 3 light, to have a bar up on the roof, to have all of that. That's what they're paying for. And the retrospect of everything, it's not a lot. That's why people are going to move into the Aladdin. And that's why I know it will work.
To all of it, once again, a lot of business owners will focus on the big, most business owners I talk to focus on the big eyeball piece in the middle. Where the true greats win in this space is focusing on the 20 other things that the average person doesn't focus on.
Taller toilets.
But it's like,
do you want to go sit on a fucking short little toilet?
There's nothing that irritates me more. Like when
do you like doing that?
Logan goes.
Logan, do you like going to a public restroom? Logan, a public restroom. You're going there. You're trying to relieve yourself. You're not happy about it because again, public restroom.
Shit's in a urinal.
And you go and sit down. And you're going down to go sit on the toilet, and you're fucking sinking way down. You're a tall gentleman. You're going sinking way down. You're like,
he's only 5'8".
I can't even stand up.
There's like a level where it just stops and you just fall.
Yes.
Then it hurts
Tall
your
toilets
knees.
in every restroom. Tall toilets. It's something so
Not
simple.
too tall now. Not
so
too
simple.
tall.
Yeah, what happens if Bree can't
not
get on
too
the
tall.
toilet?
I'm gonna need a
Bree's
step
feet can't
stool.
hit the bottom.
Tall toilets.
You gotta compromise.
Good water pressure. You know what the number one thing? This is actually a good trivia question. What is the number one thing?
Water pressure.
No, it's actually not water pressure. It's not. What is the number one thing that tenants or residents that live in apartment buildings complain about to the landlord? What is the number one thing? It
Showers.
is not water pressure.
I want to say
Hard
like
water.
lights.
Nope.
Shower's not it.
I think lights.
Nope.
My trash doesn't get picked up from my front door.
Nope.
What?
They're hot.
Huh?
They're hot.
What do you mean?
Air.
Oh, AC.
Air conditioning. You know the best thing you can do? Most people, I do, but most people don't want their apartment fucking freezing. I set my apartment when I leave at 62 degrees. 'Cause I don't care. I don't care.
At 66.
I don't care what I'm paying. But
Yeah.
most people that are renting, they don't
I'm
think
paying
about
an
that.
extra $50 for a vaulted ceiling. I'm like
Yeah.
the few extra $40 for my space to be 66, and
You're not even thinking about it.
they're like, you know what? If you do Evergy, because they put like the smart Nest
Yeah.
and all of them,
And you're like,
they're like, you can save money. I'm like,
I'm comfortable. I don't give a
Mike,
fuck.
$40? Really don't care about this point.
Well, the people that are in these apartments, they do. Well, the
Hey, did
biggest
you pick
thing
a
is that
layout?
they want to be adequately temperatured. They don't. No one really cares about being, I'm too cold, especially living in a building like that, because you can always turn the heat up.
Yeah.
They will say, I'm hot. And most buildings cannot get cold enough. That's the number one complaint. If you
Makes sense.
want your unit at the Aladdin to be 55 degrees, it can be because of chilled water and steam. And do you know what your utility bill will be per month? $20. Because it's chilled water, recycled chilled water and steam. It is the most energy efficient system that money can buy. You can fucking make that bitch Antarctica if you want. And you're paying the same amount. You want to make it Mars and the sun and float? Great. Same price. That is also a selling point of Godspeed. Do what you want to do.
Did you pick me and Chloe's layout of the apartment?
And Chloe's layout for the apartment.
Yeah.
Totally forgot.
We picked one, and it was
Basement.
like the bathroom separate from the bedroom.
We have
The
7
one bedroom.
different layouts for the Aladdin.
Well, you showed me all of them, and I picked one.
Well, I know you probably picked one. You picked your
fucking
favorite.
Forgot. You fucking
No, you
forgot.
picked your favorite.
fucking forgot.
Put on the
No,
hot seat here.
she picked her favorite, but
It was 3C. Does that make sense?
no, there's
It was
unit type
like-
1 through 10. I'm with the architect every day. There's unit 1 through 10.
Which one did you pick, Brie?
I think 7.
7's a good layout.
I think
That's
7.
on the
Yeah, I think 7.
northwest corner.
Uh-huh.
That's a good unit.
Yeah.
Smaller closet. Double doors for the bathroom. Big kitchen. Good closet space for the
You
for
just
the
said,
hall closet space,
Oh.
but not the closet. Actually, closet. It's not huge.
but basically that's 2
Unit
closets.
Unit 8 is that one's juicy.
Prime time.
That one's
Juicy.
That's my favorite. That's juicy. That's a juicy unit.
All right.
Separate
Well,
conversation.
We could podcast for hours. I think we're 2 hours in right now.
Are we really?
Yeah, and I got through none of the questions I had.
No, you had a
So,
couple.
I think I answered. I think we went over one. I think it's irrelevant at this point.
Shut that.
We'll just shut that.
iPad did not work.
Yeah. Like I said, I try to keep these around an hour. Sometimes they just blow over, then I just let it ride. But it's you got a lot of legit shit going on.
Legit.
I appreciate that. So do
Yeah.
you. There are not many people that I look up to and respect that are doing shit and have started shit that over a 5-year period of time have built and done what you've built, and it's admirable and it's badass. People have
Appreciate
been have talked to me
Badass.
and go, "Hey, what do you know about the Dave Moss guy?" I go, "Dude, that dude, he's just got it going on. He understands it." They're like, "What do you mean?" I go, "I don't know. I don't know either." I go, "What do you think about me?" They're like, "Well, I don't know." I go, "Exactly. It just has it figured out." But what's scary, and I think what's good, and I hope that someone says the same about me, is that you just started. You just start. I mean, MMG is just beginning, and I think that I know that what you guys are going to build and grow over the next decade and beyond is not just Kansas City. It is going to grow and expand. It's awesome to go and watch and be your neighbor coming up.
And I think there's going to be a lot of connection points in the future.
Oh,
with
100%.
us,
I think
we're in a lot of the same rooms already, and it's one of those things that I enjoy connecting people. I've always felt like I was kind of a connector in rooms, and it's the outcome always just ends up being what it's supposed to.
amen.
I'm not focused on what the outcome is.
Oh,
When it comes to people, I just want people to win, and I see that you're winning, and I know you're going to keep doing that. So it's
likewise. You meet good people, you hang out with good people, and good things will come.
exactly.
And
So-
I'm blessed to be your brother, your friend, and to be on this podcast. Thank you everyone. This was awesome. What you and your brother have built is badass, and I can see it from the Walt Disney story of the apples, the oranges, and that's honestly why when I brought on Colin's nothing like me. Is he a partner right now? No, but he's very different, and I like that. I grew up watching my family, and both my stepdad and my dad have partners that were very different than them. And I love and I understand and I appreciate what you guys have built. And again, this is just the beginning. I promise you guys in the next 5 years that MMG, this podcast, I'll be on here again, and it will not be in a fucking sick-ass garage. It'll be in a warehouse, and there'll be a fucking moon in there.
It's gonna look just
Fantasy
So
Factory.
we're actually
Steal the moon!
we're gonna build the exact same thing in front of a whole entire auditorium. That
Yeah.
I have not every single thing that's in this garage. When we build the Fantasy Factory, I will strip. I'm talking from the dartboard to the safe,
Yes.
to the TV, to the fridge,
To
the
the
bar,
fridge that doesn't
the
work
fridge
all
that
the
doesn't
time.
work. It's kind of iffy. Like it is all taken out of it. The floors will be done. This whole thing will be duplicated.
I love it.
Exact same thing, and I want it.
But it's because of what you two built together. And like again, going back to the visionary,
It's way more than the
to
two
the
of us.
execution.
It's
No, it
something-
takes a village. It takes a village.
But early days, like
Even weird people
the-
like Bree.
the
Hey now.
the early days, I thought I had something to hold my head on. Like I thought I had something. I thought I was the guy, and I was so wrong about it. That MMG has outscaled who Dane is. It's so cool to watch it happen. It's something that it's a shot to the ego too when it happens. But it's like you have to step down and say, hey, like it's time for everyone to take the stage. It's like it's not my stage anymore to have.
No.
And watching everyone take the stage and everyone win and watching it, like Bree making this connection and everything. I mean, it's all the things that happen, the touch points of this huge web that's coming together. It's wild how little of a piece I actually have in it.
Everything happens for a reason, and it's all curated conversations and curated relationships.
Yep.
And it's, at the end of the day, Kansas City is a very small city, very small, and it's unbelievable how many unbelievable
But we're
people there are
tight.
here. Very tight.
We're tight as fuck.
Tight as fuck.
Dead ass.
bro.
Very tight.
Dead ass.
Dead ass.
But
Very tight. My
That, just leave it at that. Leave it at that.
Hey,
thank you.
oh,
Hey,
cheers.
here,
We
hold
gotta
on.
cheers to this.
We're cheers.
Oh,
Let
oh,
me-
oh.
Give us.
Pour it up, pour it up.
cup
Watch
is very
out,
tight.
fall
That
out.
was too sexual.
No,
Pour
cup
it
is
up,
very
pour it
dry.
up.
Cup is very dry.
Very dry over here.
Very dry.
All right, Bree. Toast us to end
Hey.
it.
Cheers to great people, great connections, great business in Kansas City.
Cheers. Cheers to that.
And that's the M3 podcast.
That's the M3 podcast.
Peace.
Peace.
I don't know if you guys noticed. I threw up the.
Yeah, we saw. No, we saw.
Thanks for listening to the M3 Podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Want to learn more? Check us out on Instagram at Moss Marketing Group, on Facebook at Moss Marketing 58, or on our website at mossmarketinggroup.com.